explain. I originally planned this third video to be just kind of looking over a pattern, looking over the fabric I'm going to use, and then maybe cutting out the pattern and matching it to the fabric. Needless to say, that didn't happen. What did happen was this. I hit a bit of a creative rut. I wasn't quite sure what to film. With the introduction and then with adjusting Matilda, it was a bit easier to figure out what bits I wanted to show. But since I hadn't properly made a dress yet, I wasn't quite sure where to start, what to show, or really where to begin. Instead of stressing out about that, I decided I'm just gonna make the darn dress and figure it out from that point. I'm glad I did that for several reasons. Mainly because I reached a second hurdle that I didn't realize would be a hurdle. I mentioned in the last video that I have a hunch due to corrective surgery from a curve in my back. It's called scoliosis if you're not unfamiliar with it. I mentioned it just to consider the fact that I have a bit of extra me on the back to take into consideration. What I wasn't taking into consideration, though, was the physical challenges of piecing together a dress when you have a bad back and other issues. In short, I was ignoring the fact that I am technically disabled. I'm glad I didn't film any of the making of this particular dress because besides just being a learning curve and putting together a dress, it was also a learning curve in terms of figuring out what exactly my limitations are and what my body can handle. For example, I don't have a table to lay my fabric out on, so I had to lay it out on the floor. I spent a lot of time on the floor, cutting out the pattern, cutting out the fabric for the dress, pinning everything. The next morning, I couldn't really move that much. I've decided that with this vlog, I kind of need to address the fact that I'm not capable of doing some things that other people are capable of doing, if that makes any sense. So for instance, I need to get a table. I just can't make another dress without a table or my body will fall apart. The amount of bruises I have just from kneeling on the ground is enough to warrant me getting a table. Another thing I need to do is obviously change the chair I'm sitting in because it provides absolutely no back support when I'm actually at my sewing machine. I don't want to invest in a full new chair just yet, so we're going to try some cushions, but we'll see how that goes. There are other adjustments that I'm going to want to do as well, but I think we'll talk about those as we come to them. But let's go back to the creative rut I was in. So as I mentioned, the original vlog I had planned was to just look over the pattern and the fabric, but obviously that did not happen. Now that I have an idea of what it takes for me to put together a dress, I have a better idea of what I want to film. I've also written down exactly what I want to end up with. That means how many dresses and how many, well, other Regency-esque things I want to have at the end of this particular vlog. I'll explain in more detail what these items are when I go to make them, but just as a general overview, I want to make 2 day dresses, 2 ball gowns, 1 Spencer, and 1 sort of just long length coat. I have to kind of lean into the physical boundaries of my body and kind of explain as I go on how I adapt, because I don't know exactly how I'm going to adapt beyond a table and some cushions, but it will be part of the journey this vlog goes on. But now, for a bit more fun, let's look at this dress. This is a chemise. I made this in about a day. I've got a bit of that on film, which I will put in now. We're going to make a chemise. It's not going to be historically accurate, but it's going to serve its purpose. Everything and moved to my chair. It's not very exciting when I move to my chair because everything is on my lap. I can't really film what I'm doing because it's a very small space. But needless to say, what I did do was pin and then sew in place the casing all around here that has this little cord that you can ruche up and tie so the chemise stays in place. It's not the best, it's more of a mock-up than anything else. I'm actually working on another one right now that I'm hand sewing mostly. When I'm hand stitching, I can sit more comfortably and it doesn't put as much strain on my body as when I'm using the sewing machines. Before I put the dress on Matilda, I just want to mention that I do have plans to make a Regency corset and some other undergarments for dresses, and I will vlog those as well. They might be a bit more intermittent. Now I hope that the next vlog will be about a Regency corset, but I'm not going to promise as obviously things change, but we'll cross our fingers for that. So let's dress Matilda. Here's the dress on Matilda. I haven't done the back up at the moment. I want to do that on camera, but I thought I would just show you the front. When you first put it on, as you can see, the chemise sometimes peeks out. As you can see, there's some box pleating around the neckline. I added that because I didn't like how the neckline turned out originally, and I needed something to distract your eye from that. But I think it turned out pretty good. So here's the back of Matilda, and this is where I really screwed up. This dress is, I should say, incredibly far from perfect. So I really Frankensteined the closures in the back. With the pleating, I actually put a fastener here to hold the pleating in place in the back, and then for some reason I thought this would go over rather under. All of my buttons are off to the side. This is definitely not correct, but it kind of looks cool, so I wasn't too upset about it. Now here's where I really messed up. Because this goes over here, you would think this goes over here, but the way I sewed it, it actually goes this way. So the dress is kind of pulling you in two directions. So I kind of had to adjust. There's a hook and eye closure here that kind of holds up the skirt. I really don't know if it actually affects it, but it makes me feel better that it's there. And then it's just the normal closures in the back. As you can see, it's not horrible, but it's not great. It's definitely one of those, it definitely looks like a first try, but I'm proud of it. I am very proud of it. Even with the back done up, the front doesn't look too different. And that's because I think the size is just a bit too big, but that's okay because it's obviously easier to take in a dress than it is to let it out because fabric just doesn't materialize. I also realized that this could be because it does need more layers. It needs the chemise, it needs the corset, and it needs probably a chemisette as well, and I'm not entirely sure how much bulk that's going to add to the dress, so I don't want to make any alterations at the moment. I'm okay with it being loose, and I think it will be good when I do make the undergarments to have this as kind of a tester dress. From here on out, I'm not going to say what the next vlog is going to be for sure, because I don't actually know if that's what's going to happen. And this is because, as I mentioned, I don't want to throw myself into a creative rut where I don't know what to film, and I also need to take into consideration the physical barriers that present themselves in dressmaking for me personally. What I hope the next vlog will be is the Regency corset. If not, well, it will be a surprise. Thanks for watching. I hope that this vlog was informative and explained why I needed to take a week to kind of figure out what I'm doing. And hopefully that means that the coming weeks will be a little bit easier to manage, and I'll be a little less hard on myself, because I think I was a bit hard on myself with this. But yeah, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day, night, week. You choose. Thanks for watching. Bye!